Well, well, well. We're back at it again, reacting to some Jagex controversy. So, boys, glad to have you with me again, and I couldn't help but react to this one because obviously this is probably one of the biggest drama calendar months of all time in old school history at this point, at least as the initial response is shown on Reddit. But I wanted to jump in on this one because I do think it overlaps with my previous video where I spoke a lot about psychometrics and the measurement of polling within the old school game itself. However, today's response, when I woke up, I saw a few Reddit posts of subscription canceling. I didn't really fully know what went on, but I saw the screenshots of the air quotes proposed ideas for memberships. Although they were so absurd, I didn't think that they would be legitimate, and that seems to be Jagex's response. But I just wanted to share my what I felt here at the start was that this spoke to me almost like a deceptive research practice. So one of the things that we do in psychology sometimes is when we bring people in to conduct an experiment and be a participant, sometimes we have to use deception. Now, the reason for this is because if we did not deceive them, or if we told them the true purpose of the experiment at that point, it could cause biased results, or it could prevent us from actually measuring the construct with which we were intending to measure. Now, this isn't exactly what's going on here, but the reason I thought of deceptive research practices here is my expectation was that Jagex might come out and say, this wasn't actually the purpose of this survey. And lo and behold, I think this was posted maybe an hour or two ago of the time I'm recording this. But after I came back from some obligations in the early afternoon here, I've now read this, and well, what do you know? It's exactly that. They are basically saying that this survey is not what it looks to be in terms of intentions. And honestly, I think that it's probably true. However, the implication and the larger topics around Jagex's decision making that I've spoke about previously, or that I have also thought about a lot, are really coming to mind here, because this is showing a level of disconnect with the community, even if the intention is just to indirectly measure ideas around membership, that it's just off the charts in terms of stupidity, frankly. And it goes back to what my initial points were in the polling video. And if you haven't seen that, I'll put it on screen here and I'll link it in the description. It's a longer yap sesh, but it was about that wildy boss snake worm thing that people didn't really want, but and the polling system per se. What I want to get at in this one is something along the lines of, even when it comes to thinking about how Jagex is approaching changes in the game and changes in the business practices around the game, it's showing a level of recklessness and a level of disingenuousness, because they say, and I always try to give them the benefit of the doubt, but I also try to hold them to the fire where possible. But they basically say within this, or they imply within this, is that they're doing this for us. They are trying to make changes that they think that we may want, or they're trying to figure out what we may want through this indirect route and deceptive survey practice, as I'll refer to it as. The piece here that's important to think about is they have time and time again recently shown to make decisions at both developmental levels but also in business practices. And I understand that those are different sections, but obviously there's a culture at the company that's brewing. But they've made these decisions that always spark backlash and then always require adjustment or some sort of damage control response, if you will, seen on screen currently. Personally, I'm not surprised. I'm not all that upset. I don't think that if their intention truly was just market research, if you will, then this is just a blip and an oversight. And I think they will probably take it and be like, oh shit, we shouldn't do this type of thing in the future. And it goes back to what I was speaking about in the polling video in terms of how are they measuring these things and how are they designing their questions and their questioning. So to drill in on that for a little bit here, The idea of deceptive research practices in psychology is important because it allows us to understand phenomena that people would sort of impression manage over. But in the case of something like this, they already know what the community would want in response to the questions they're asking. So I have no idea, even if they had to ask something indirectly, what they would truly be trying to measure here. I think, and one of the most common responses here is, and I think Fo was talking about this on stream, but it's sort of that they'll push you a little bit further than you'd want, and then it'll make something where it's still not palatable if it had been presented initially, but it'll make whatever they propose next to seem more palatable, because at least it's not this terrible thing that they proposed or seemed to propose in this survey. And that's dangerous to do because, I mean, it's obviously undermining the trust. Look at the Reddit right now. There's so many people canceling subscriptions. So if Jagex truly wanted to know our intentions around membership, they should have just straight up asked it directly. There was no need to ask questions like this unless they genuinely wanted to see how bad the response was, and in which case the deceptive research practice there is quite unethical. You know, one of the things about deception in research is that we always tell participants afterwards if there was deception, and we explain it, and then we give them give them the chance to sort of process that and ask questions and understand why we had to do deception. There's, you know, universities have large ethics boards that undergo a lot of examination over single individual questions in research studies, and obviously Jagex here doesn't even look over it in terms of like a, hey, is this a something stupid to do type of review, or at least, I mean, the response suggests that to me. So I just wanted to talk about a couple other things here. So they talk about something called conjoint analysis, and on a quick Google search, this is actually outside of anything that I've heard of, but it does seem to be within the realm of basic research practices from psychology. You know, I do neuroimaging research and sort of personality or psychopathology trait measurement research, but in that we use lower level research such as like survey questions to measure these things. And this seems to be that level, is like they are using some sort of survey to score each respondent's answer on some sort of question, and then it looks to be like they can do different research practices here. So some interesting, they have some Bayesian research. This, I'm not totally surprised that it's marketing research because it is statistical and probabilistic based research, it seems, overall. That being said, it still doesn't excuse the poor choice in question. So if you guys remember what I spoke about in that polling video, there's the idea of sort of accuracy in terms of what we're measuring, right? There's reliability, which is how many times could I ask somebody this question and reliably get the same score or approximately the same score. And then there's validity, which is sort of that overall accuracy in terms of how accurate am I on terms of measuring what I want to measure here. And Jagex is just showing again, even if it's coming from non-developers at Jagex here, but more of the market team, that whatever culture here is brewing is just not concerned about validity or accuracy or care when it comes to measuring these questions that they have. So I thought I'd just point out a few great points in here. And this, I mean, I think it was the very first comment here. Great community isn't just about listening to what players want. It's about being open to exploring uncomfortable topics so that we can make informed, player-driven decisions. I still doubt that they're making player-driven decisions anymore, but I'm sorry, but if you understood what the community wanted, you'd never even have put ads, customer service costing, extra increased costs for same quality forth as a suggestion. You should deadass understand that's a non-negotiable if you were in touch. Sure, it becomes a research project once the community successfully deters the horrible idea, though, and you're just trying to see what people hate. Yeah, totally. See, this is the sentiment that I also had, and I'm glad the community's picking up on this because this is really important for the long-term health of this this game and this community. And I think that Jagex today may have actually done harm to the longevity, and they're probably on pretty thin ice. Even though some of the game updates have been pretty fire recently, and I'll admit that I've been pleased with them, other than, you guys know my thoughts on sailing and some of the other ones, but their decision making as a whole is failing. And that is really bad when we think about a year from now, 2 years from now. How is this game going to look? How are they going to operate? And how are we going to be paying for it if we're paid subscribers? Or what features are we going to be missing out on if we can't afford the most premium service? This is a luxury piece. It's obviously the world's very expensive right now and things like that. But second part here. There are no plans to include ads in the base membership or to make ad-supported options a significant part of the game. We understand your concerns and we're reviewing the feedback closely. Then why even was this added as a question? How does that help you, us, or anyone at all? Again, same question I have. Why? What are they trying to measure here? Even if there were no plans to include ads, then you were fear-mongering us by showing us and hinting that there were fundamental damage to the game that we love, or that there will be fundamental damage. Sorry, I'm not reading this entirely accurately, but I just wanted to point out that for once, the Reddit Andes are sort of on point. And I did downvote this, not because I disagree with the conversation, but because Jagex deserves some critical feedback here. A lot of good comments in here overall for a Reddit post, surprisingly. Give credit where credit is due for once. You guys remember when they hiked up prices? Yeah, okay. If you want some fun Jagex ripping content more than what I'm giving you here today, just go read this post. It's great. Or let's just take a look at the overall subreddit right now. Every post is clowning about this. I really like this one. The advertisement, get Nintendo Switch games, accessories at nintendo.com. Yeah. But overall, I think that there's two pathways forward here. One of them is that they were intending to measure something that they aren't being forthright about, because otherwise it's a level of ignorance and stupidity that makes no sense. If they were intending to measure some sort of backlash or how we would respond to such a negative change to the game, then they obviously got the measurement. They very quickly boiled the water and could check that temperature. If this was just total negligence or stupidity, then we have to wonder as a community what the fuck is going on over there and what is happening around every other update that the community is giving negative feedback on. So I'm going to just zoom in on this one. If you use 7TV, if you stream, consider going and finding this emote. It's a wonderful one. I actually made this a couple days ago now. This isn't even today, but it's very timely. Originally, it was just intended as a joke. It was originally named Sailing, and now I named it Jagex after that even. And today, it just seems really, really on point. So consider adding it, consider using it, consider getting your favorite streamers to add it as well, because I think we need to clown on this in reverse. But if Jagex is just ignorant and making these decisions recklessly, they need to really smarten up, because the community is, I think, in a volatile situation with the coming forth of Sailing and some of these other controversial changes that they've been making, like the membership fees even. If they truly care about us and about the long-term health of the game, just why even risk such volatile changes? If they're measuring outrage response for some reason or some other undiscernible construct at this point, they should just come forth and tell us what they want us to tell them, or what do they want to know. Directly measure it rather than indirect. There's no need to be indirect or deceptive here. I don't think that is going to get them accurate data, no matter what the marketing researchers say. Typically, and this is just speaking as an academic, those fields aren't very scientifically rigorous. They're not very strong on statistics, at least not without outside research. A lot of the best marketing research actually uses evolutionary psychologists on their team, not just marketing people. And it's nothing to say that marketers aren't good at what they do, but they're just not researchers, and they're not trained scientifically. And maybe Jagex needs to hire somebody. Anyways, short little yap sesh here, mostly just venting some anger or concerns about Jagex. Let me know what you guys think about this situation and the response from the community. Let me know if you canceled your subscription. What do you think the true intentions of the survey were? And watch out for some videos coming soon. Hopefully I'll have some time to make some real ones rather than just these yap sessions. Otherwise, check out my stream, Kez TV on Twitch, and I will see you guys soon in the next one. Have a great day.